His appointment to the Civil Service Commission, as you see in your packet. I am bringing forth Mr. P.C.S. for appointment to the Civil Service Commission. Council's pleasure, comments?
Move to confirm appointment of P.C.S. to the Civil Service Commission.
Second.
Okay, Councilmember Putnam.
Mr. Jackson has been active at council in the past on occasion and has been in the community for quite a while and is interested, so I believe he meets the qualifications for the position.
I agree.
Any further comments from council? All those in favor of appointing P.C. Jackson to the Civil Service Commission signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is expenditures for the council photo. Bringing this forward only because I want your buy-in. I want council, hopefully this is being brought forward as way below the threshold of sending authority, but I would like council's buy-in on this and hoping for the support so that the citizens, our members of our community know who our council members are. Come and see the hallways here in our city. So, it's council's pleasure. Councilmember Jones?
Personally, excuse me, for it, it's one of the few cities you do not see visual representation of the council and mayor in the halls of the city hall, as well as on the website. It is beneficial for the citizens to know who their council members are visually, as well as we should be aware that they visually can point us out too. So.
That's creepy, but
And they know where you live.
I left my tomatoes at home.
Anyway, I'm for it.
Is that a motion, Councilmember?
I move that we allow the mayor to go ahead and spend the money, and we all dress up and do our hair, and put on a nice shirt, and get a picture taken. Second.
Councilmember Cavey, second that. Would you like to comment?
Yeah, I agree. At every city I've ever been in, they show pictures, and right now in our community, unless they watch the videos on Jeannie's blog or pick up their voter's pamphlet and open it up to vote and see a picture of a candidate in there, they don't have any idea who we are. I think it does help put a face to the name, and it would be beneficial for our community.
Any further comments from council? Councilmember Jones?
It's not part of this motion, but it's something we need to revisit is council ID badges.
That's probably a good idea. Before I do that,
I have one. I don't know how many of the council members complied and went through that process.
I have one that says council.
why do we need it?
Well, because you're related to the city, and then
Hey,
when you go out, you have representation. I mean, the city employees have that,
Yeah, so we need to work on
Are you talking the photo ID?
Yes.
Oh, I can
And you're right, we need to revisit that. I appreciate you doing that. Okay, further comments from council?
Okay, Mom.
Sorry. Okay, so all those in favor of the expenditure for council photo signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. There's, the next item on the agenda, I had hoped for a little asterisk next to it, providing that the council had approved ordinance number 1896. Thank you for approving that ordinance. I would like to bring forth the appointment for April C. back to the park board. She's been a tremendous asset to the park board, and it was really difficult for me, based on the residency information that I had received, to not keep her on the park board. I was following the policy that council had in place at that time. Now, in light of this new policy, I would like to bring Kate Hull back for appointment. And based on how it works, that it wouldn't even take effect until April 1st because our ordinance has to be in place for 5 days before it can even take effect. So I'd like to bring it forward if we don't meet until after April, and so that she could be helping us with the planning for council's approval.
Just open for discussion real quick.
Yes.
I just wanna make it clear that we didn't change the ordinance to support Kate Hall's situation, because it was brought to our attention at the governance committee that she had reestablished her residency in the city of Pacific and would thereby be qualified to be reappointed regardless of what we did with
So
her.
the residents of both Texas, and so like, how do you determine
Right.
where she spent her time? You know?
But according to her, she spends the majority of her time here, so she would qualify under this, and we didn't change the ordinance to satisfy a desire to put Kate back on the board. That there was no name and face applied to that.
That was my understanding through the governance committee, that this was not done for any particular person, just to open up the pool. And so, anyway,
And I would like to think that our attorney brought that to our attention, that in small cities, there are sometimes difficulties finding people to volunteer for these positions, especially in small cities.
with that, Councilmember,
Is there a reason we don't have an application?
well, and I thought there would be one. We had one the first time that it came around, and I'm sorry that you don't.
It's been a few months, do we know that she's still interested?
Yes, she did attend the park board meeting, and I asked her if she would be interested. So I did ask that question when she attended the park board meeting last week. Is there a motion?
I'd like to move to reappoint Ms. Hall back to the park board.
Second.
Councilmember Kate.
Again, I think there was some confusion as to why she was dismissed and,
Not dismissed, not
or
reappointed.
not reappointed, which, you know, some of that is, well, much of that's on her shoulders for not being very clear about her residency status but, you know, the last thing we want as a city is to take someone that has been such a productive member of one of our, you know, committees or commissions, and remove them, because she has been an asset. You know, just in the short time I've been on council, you know, not only is she active, but she's always prodding council to ensure that funds are steered toward the park board, and I think she's been an asset to the city. And, you know, I think it's good to have her on the park commission, and that's why I support reappointing her.
Councilmember Jones.
As it was stated before, I did not approve the modifications to the memberships in relationship to Catherine. But having worked with her on the park board for a couple of years prior to being on the voted into the council, and working with her from this position, and knowing that she's an advocate for the park board and our Earth Day and other events in support of this city, I see no reason why not. If she's willing to put herself in the fire, you know, to take advantage of her.
Further comments from council?
I did have one question.
Yes.
Why is it only a 3-year term versus a 6-year?
Park board is 3 years.
3 years?
Yes.
Is it a
The
3-year
planning
term?
commission
Oh, I
is
thought it
6.
was a 6, okay, I'm sorry. That answers my question.
Okay. Further comments from council? All those in favor of appointing Kate Hall to the park board, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda?
Second.
Any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor of the consent agenda, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. With that, we do not have an executive session. It's not been added to tonight's agenda.
Can I speak to something?
So,
Suspend the rules.
move to suspend the rules. There you go. So there's a motion to suspend the rules. Second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilmember Kate.
One of the things that was brought up in the finance committee meeting that I didn't discuss, because it really wasn't finance related, it may be in the future, but, I'd really like us to look into taking a lead role in organizing consortium style services for some of our needs. You know, we're discussing the possibility of using IT, but I think, a building inspector pool or, enforcement actions, for code enforcement, look at some of our neighboring cities and find out where we can come together, because most cities are lucky to have enough full-time work to keep those positions, busy. Even if they did, if they lose that person, like we're in a situation like that now, we don't have anyone else that can come in and cover. Where if we get into a consortium style, service providing, where, you know, one organization is the lead organization that employs the person, and then the other communities that involve themselves with it will pay for whatever percentage of that employee's time is needed. And if we look into that, I think we can create some efficiencies within our city and expand the services we provide, or at least provide them in a more efficient, effective manner if we can come up with something like that. And I'd like to kind of look at it taking a lead role in organizing it. Granted, it takes our staff and the mayor to spearhead that, but I would be willing to volunteer to sit on any of the committees and the framework of drawing something like this up and commit some time to it myself.
So, answer that, because of the situation the city has been in recently, I have been reaching out to our neighboring cities and trying to figure something out, and we may be able to work something out with Milton. Auburn doesn't have a need for that, but there may be an opportunity, something I have been looking at and working on with Milton, Algona, and Pacific. All of us working together, we're kind of in the middle of talking about that, but you're
I
right,
think there are
that's a
others,
good idea.
there are other communities, that could be
Sumner's
involved.
not interested, they have full-time.
Black Diamond, Covington.
But those are some of the things that you're exactly right, that we've been looking at.
You know, it'd probably be best to stick to King County communities, just because we have,
We're in both.
yeah, I know we're in both, but we're predominantly a King County city. I'm not saying we have to, but, I think we should look, you know, definitely not turn anyone away that would be interested in something like this, but, the 40 might be interested as well. And just having someone available, you know, where, if you got 5 cities that participate, you can employ 2 people, and, you have 2 days worth of work out of, you know, for each of those positions that we fulfill. And we wouldn't be on the hook for full-time wages.
Councilmember Olivera, did you have a comment?
No, I have a question. Is this a union position? Or
Yes, it is. Right now, it is in our city.
So if we went into a consortium,
There would
how would
still
that
do
work?
that, if we have to work with the other cities, it's a collective bargaining position. It's challenging.
Yeah.
Richard can get you a copy of the IT agreement. It's got a structure to it. It's a virtual structure. I haven't read the whole thing, but you should not approve it yet. So, it's a good, starting point.
I just think we should expand it beyond AP.
I agree. I have no problem with that. I mean, I've been looking into it. Ask Richard.
And, you know, the nice thing is we wouldn't be infringing on any union, issues if we looked at, I mean, we could find, you know, there are some services that bigger cities have positions filled for certain things, you know, like, for instance, parks. I mean, parks in bigger cities, they have full-time staff. You know, we could, you know, look into expanding, you know, having someone available on a part-time basis to do stuff like that.
I think this is something that we can bring back at a future date for a workshop.
That's why I wanted this to be new business, to think about and move forward.
Okay. So, and there's no need for executive session that has been removed from our agenda tonight, and being no further business, we are